Hi there, and welcome to today's spooky story for Halloween. Yesterday I was talking to you about the poltergeist activity, which the salt shaker story was also about poltergeist kind of activity. But these are other things that were more along that line as well. So yesterday I told you about the story about the roommate that we had, one of the roommates we had, and the cup that flew out over her head out of the top of the cabinet. On another occasion, my daughter-in-law was in the kitchen doing some dishes. And at the time, because we had people living with us, we had two refrigerators in the kitchen directly across from each other. On the top of one was sitting lengthwise a loaf of bread. And she was standing there doing the dishes. Everything had been fairly normal that day. And all of a sudden she hears, whoop, whoop. And she turns around, and that loaf of bread had flown from this position off of the refrigerator and about 10 feet away, almost in front of the other refrigerator, and landed standing up on its end, off the top of the refrigerator to the floor, standing up on its end. So that was a little bit strange. Another time, it liked to mess with the music boxes in my house. I'm a big music box fan. And in my house, I had a number of music boxes, one of which my mother gave me when I was probably 24. No, it had to have been a little later than that, maybe 27 or 28. And it was sitting on my mantle. And this thing would make that music box play. And that music box, the only way it would play is if you wound it up and then flipped a switch. And so it was very odd that it did that. The other thing about this house that happened a lot was that there were a lot of times voices in the house of people who were not the people who lived there. Sometimes there were voices of the people who lived there too. So on occasion, my husband would be upstairs, I'd be downstairs, and he could hear me talking from the downstairs, but he would also hear me coming up the stairs and talking to him at the same time. On one occasion in particular, I had this phrase that I would say when I was going up the stairs, when I was transitioning from whatever I had been doing to what I was going to be doing. I would walk up the stairs and say, "Alrighty then." And he heard me do that one day, but he could hear it over top of me being downstairs talking to someone else. Frequently, when we would hear those voices, we would hear, if you were downstairs, you would hear them upstairs. You could hear the sounds of people laughing and talking, a male and a female usually. If you were upstairs, you would hear them downstairs. Sometimes it would be children laughing and talking. And tomorrow I will tell you a couple of stories about instances where we heard those voices and the time of, what was going on in the house at the time and things like that. If you like today's story, please hit the plus button and the like button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers so I can go live with you. And have a great day. Thanks.